kind of just turned it on and turned it into a 51-point win.
Yeah, I think we've been on the struggle bus for a little bit, and we've been playing well. We've come up short, and I think we had a little bit of a lull to start the game. I did change the starting lineup a little bit. I believe in that. Nobody did anything wrong, but I think sometimes when you come up short, you go ahead and you shift some things and move some things around. But we did not start well. But I kept challenging them, and I think you have to learn how to win, right? And that's why those games are great. We should have a couple more of them probably on our schedule, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. I was pleased with our guys, really happy with how we finished. I was happy with our bench. I think we had 70 some points off our bench, and that's impressive. And I think that's kind of what we need. Those guys needed reps. Without having any games like this early in the year, I basically have been kind of going with the guys that, at the 1st of November had kind of earned those spots. And so sometimes when you have a couple games like we had last night, you're able to play guys, and guys can kind of earn their way into the rotation. We haven't had that, and so it's unfortunate that we finally got that opportunity in early December. I wish we'd had that in early November, but we didn't. So hopefully some of those guys have gained some confidence, and we can maybe start to work a couple of those guys in a little bit more.
And that's one thing I did notice is you had a lot of substitutions throughout that game. How important was that to not only kind of keeping guys fresh, but also getting them those much needed reps?
Yeah, I think we needed some guys to get some rest for sure. But yeah, they've needed reps, man. They've needed them for a long time. We just haven't had that opportunity. And I mean, since our exhibition game, and we didn't really get a whole lot in that one either. And it's because in an exhibition game, you're not really ready to go, and so I think it was really important the getting the reps for the bench guys, but also getting some much needed rest for some of our high minute guys. I think that was really important as well.
And I mean, you guys were on that little bit of a skid, and then you had a 51-point win. I mean, that's kind of, it's nice to see 120-something points on the scoreboard, even no matter who you're playing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. How does that feel going into this next game against a pretty good UTEP team?
Yeah, I think we were like 4 points short maybe of school record, and I think we were 2 assists short of school record. So the guys, obviously offensively, we needed that. We've been struggling offensively, and I think what I was trying to get across to them, they finally started doing in the second half, and that is, when you turn people over, you go. I take the handcuffs off. If you can force a miss, you get a rebound. We don't need to hold the ball, sit back, and I don't need to call a set every time down. And I think they've been kind of holding back a little bit and kind of waiting for some of that stuff, and last night they didn't do that. And I felt like at the SFA game we did a little better job of that too. But man, if we can get out and go, we want to take advantage of that. And I think we got a lot of easy baskets last night by pushing the ball up the floor, and hopefully that carries over, into some of our games coming up.
And I mean, I think every ACU basketball fan kind of had this game circled. This next game on Sunday. Yeah. The return of Joe Golding. He's got a lot of success here. Talk about that kind of game and coaching against someone that has that kind of repertoire at ACU.
Sure. It's no secret. Coach Golding is my best friend. We talk all the time. That hasn't changed because we're about to play each other. We'll talk a few times this week. But this is not Brette Tanner versus Joe Golding. It's UTEP versus ACU, and I think what Coach Golding and myself want is the game to be focused on them. And, UTEP is a very good basketball team. We don't get somebody of the quality of UTEP to come to Abilene. People will not. This game is happening because of the scheduling initiative between Conference USA and the WAC. And we don't get bigger schools like that to come to Abilene and play. So we're grateful that we have this scheduling initiative. I just, personally, I wish it wasn't UTEP, and I know he wishes it wasn't ACU. But for the game itself, I want our fans to enjoy UTEP. Coming to Abilene and playing. And there's not many players that played for him. His guys don't know anything about Abilene Christian, and most of our guys don't know anything about his history here. So it's really our players versus their players. Not myself versus Coach Golding. If either one of us could skip this game, we probably would. I know a lot of people don't understand that. Why wouldn't you guys want to play? It's great for the university, it's great for our fans, but it's not good for friends. Because somebody has to lose the game, and that's not good for either one of us. So we're just going to have some fun with it, personally, and then hopefully have a really good game between UTEP and Abilene Christian.
Coach, this program hasn't scored 120 points in a game since 2013, and everybody contributed to it. You actually set a Division I school record in rebounds, and you were right about 2 assists shy of reaching the assist record. As a coach, how does it feel to watch everybody just contribute to that performance?
That's what you hope for, and when we've been really good, we've had 4 or 5 guys in double figures. That's going back 10 years, in the last decade. When we've been good, man, we have had multiple guys in double figures. We don't have anybody with 25 points or 20 points. You're looking at our roster, we have 14, 13, 12, 14, 10. And then you have a couple guys with 9. And that's, you go back to some of our early wins this year, that's what our stat sheet looked like. And so I was happy to see that. I was also pleased that we were able to go and score as many points as we did, and get those guys some reps. Like I talked about earlier, I think they work just as hard as anybody else that's out there getting minutes. And to see guys like Mo, who is just on the cusp, man, of getting in the rotation. He's not there yet, but he is getting there. He's doing things, and he's working on earning his way into that rotation. But to go out there and get that opportunity that he's working so hard for. To see guys like Yaniel go out there and get some much-needed reps, because we're going to need him at some point this year. We're going to be in foul trouble, hopefully not injuries, but there's going to be a situation that creates a moment where we're going to need Yanni in a game, and for him to go out there and get some game experience is huge. And then for a guy like Colby, to go out there who works extremely hard and has improved, drastically from when he first started with us to today, to go out there and to get opportunity to play real minutes. That's important, man. That keeps up team morale. That keeps those guys playing, because if they're not playing hard like they are every day in practice, we're not getting better. And when you don't get game time, sometimes that you tend to not work as hard, and so I was pleased to see all of that for a million different reasons, and just excited. And I hope that we can, but I want them to understand, why did we score so many points? It didn't have anything to do with our opponent. It was how we decided to play and how we decided to attack in the second half.
Coach, yesterday you mentioned that in the first half you weren't so pleased that there wasn't as much enthusiasm as there was in the second half. How does the team keep that enthusiasm, that intensity in both halves against Utah?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. If you got the answer, let me know. But I think we just got to carry over the confidence from last night, and we've had an issue this year of playing to our level. Some of that's good. We played Oklahoma State. Shoot, we looked like a Big 12 team. When we've played some other teams, man, we've kind of played to our level every single night. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad, and I think that was a little bit of what happened last night when we started, and that comes from having 10 guys that haven't been, a year or less. I've said it over and over. They've got to learn how to play. They've got to learn how to compete. The majority of our roster has not been at this level before or played significant minutes that are now. And that's why you play a non-conference. Otherwise, we just go to conference and play the games, right? And so we're trying to learn how to not play to our level, how to consistently be where we're supposed to be, and how to have that energy and enthusiasm. And I think that I'm trying to teach them, like, this is when we play well, when we have energy, we have enthusiasm. We are at a different level, man, and we've got to start doing that from tip to finish.
Thank you, Coach.
I have one more.
All right.
I have one more.
Yeah.
question. Going from playing on a Sunday to playing on another Sunday, that's 7 days off. Trying to talk about the positives and negatives of having an entire week off, especially when you said to yourself that you guys start slow in games. That could kind of hurt you guys. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, man. That's a good question. I think, the last time we had a 7-day off period, we did not play real well. That was right before the UTA game. And so the difference between that one and this one, though, is that one we traveled, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because I felt like against Northern Arizona we looked tired. Just physically, mentally, whatever it may be. And I think we went out, we bust Oklahoma State, we bust back, but we win, and we're going off adrenaline. We're only, we come back, we're only here for a day, we jump on a plane, go to North Carolina. We're only here for a day or and a half, then we play a home game, and then that night, most people don't know, after we played Prairie View, we cleaned up, got on a bus at 1 o'clock in the morning and bus to Dallas to catch a flight to the Virgin Islands. And we were playing great during this time. I think we were rolling off adrenaline. We came back from the Virgin Islands and had 7 days off, and I think in the midst of that week, it's almost like we all came to a, man, holy smokes, I'm tired. We had a chance to catch up, and it was almost a negative. And so here we go again, but we've been at home this time. And so and we've been doing things to try to counter that. fatigue. And UTEP is going to be coming off of a 7-day window also, or an 8-day window. They played the day before up at the University of Oregon. And so this is everybody's finals week, or their finals week, our finals week. So it's going to be very similar, I think, or a little bit different, but very similar for the opponents, which was not the same when we went to UTA. They had a couple games while we weren't playing. So I think it's going to be more of an even playing field, but we've definitely got to figure that out, and we're working on that.